everyone, this is Claire and today I'll be analysing Promenade Peak and RIVERGREEN together. A couple of reasons why, right? They are two very similar locations. They are almost like side by side around the Great Wall MRT, but yet they're two very different products and they're also competing against each other, right? So we want to understand the differences and we also want to identify the gaps between the two and see where the opportunities are. So I think this video will be quite informative for you to understand. The other point that I wanted to mention is that because the preview date is on 17th of July, hence the launch date will also be on the same day on the 2nd of August, right? If you're going to look at these two projects, you will highly likely from an investor point of view, you will put checks for both and then you'll see what is good in terms of the queue for you to go for, right? So it is very important for you to understand that once you go into the queue, what are you looking for? So this is what I'll cover, right? I'll cover location and overview for both projects side by side, okay? The more important thing is to look at the price predictions based on the guide prices that we already have, right? Based on per floor jump and per square foot. Other one that's more important is understanding the price point for both projects side by side and what to choose, right? Because I'm going to lay out a price matrix that you can bring along during your booking day, just so that you understand where you are at for each point. And I would say I think the price prediction, while I may be wrong, they should be quite close to my prediction. And then after that, I'll cover kind of like a summary of each unit type. Okay, so this is River Valley. There are 4 plots in total. One, this is RIVERGREEN, is one of the ones that we're talking about. The other one is Promenade Peak. This one currently right now is not launched yet, I think likely next year. And then this one is called Grand Zion. That's slightly end of the year as well. They also have a service apartment component. So there are 2 things. One is, if you cut this into half, this is actually belonging to District 3 and this is actually belonging to District 9, right? Does it really matter looking at the location like that? Whether you belong to District 3 or belong to District 9, I would say no. I think the price and the product offering is more important because coming into this area, 2 different projects, I think it's important to know exactly which one suits you based on your objectives, right? For example, if you're talking about rental yield, which one will give you the best rental yield at the best entry price versus something that is a bit more for own stay, right? Own stay, you're looking at layout and all that. So that will be covered in this video as well, okay? So location-wise, this is Great Wall City, right? And then the MRT is over on this side. You have an exit here. You have an exit right beside RIVERGREEN as well. And then down over here is actually Havelock MRT. Okay, so in terms of location-wise, I think honestly it's quite ideal. Great Wall has also kind of revamped the mall. If you're looking at a market, there is also a Zion Riverside Market over here. Once you walk down on here, you actually reach about 10 minutes to Tiong Bahru Market. So I think in terms of amenities and looking at surrounding amenities, I think is quite okay. Okay, so land bid pricing versus the rest, right? So today we're looking at RIVERGREEN at 1,300 per square foot PPR, Promenade Peak at 1,202 per square foot PPR. If you look at recent land pricing, right, you see that actually at Jurong Lakeside, the top bid was actually at 1,132. And even Far East, where you are at Bayshore, the very first plot has already achieved 1,388 per square foot PPR. And at the same time, the one at Turf City, the first one along Daniel Road has already achieved 1,400 per square foot PPR, right? So we're talking about Far West, talking about Far East, and talking about the Bukit Timah area, which is quite sought after in general. Lots of good schools around. The bid prices have been moving upwards, outskirts, right? So you see that actually like Far East, you get this kind of pricing. Far West, you get this kind of pricing. So looking at where it is right now, the developers are also quite cautious about pricing it very strategically, right? So what we want to highlight over here, right, is that what we will expect will be that the PSF that they sell out will be around this launch price, right? About 2006, 2007. So today, if you're looking at River Valley versus Bayshore, right? I think more people will want to be likely in River Valley more than Bayshore, right? So next time, right, the pricing at Bayshore will be that kind of 2007 kind of pricing. And then here will sound very cheap, okay? So today, I won't touch too much on the facilities, but I want to go deeper into the pricing so that you can understand exactly at the point of the queue when you're looking at these 2 projects, which one you want to look out for, because I will do some cut-off pricing for you to get some understanding about where and why we are doing this. So roughly you can get a sense of where the cut-off price is. Okay, because when it comes to high-rise developments, you see that for the exactly same unit from the low floor all the way to the high floor like that, right? There can be easily about 400k difference, right? When it's a 400k difference, then in terms of the gap, it's huge, right? So in terms of the per square foot, it's huge as well. So we want to understand this, and then we want to make sure that we cut off at a certain pricing so that we know that we have some room for and buffer for profits. Okay, so this is the Promenade Peak. Okay, level 2 to level 42. Okay, they are the smaller units, so 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, and slightly smaller 3 bedroom units, right? Once you hit to the 44th floor for Promenade Peak all the way to 62th floor, you get all the 3 bedroom premium with private lift, 4 bedroom premium with private lift, and 5 bedroom premium with private lift as well. Okay, then when you come to RIVERGREEN, right? RIVERGREEN is 36 stories high, only one tower, 15 stacks in total. So the units are all one facing here, one facing the other side, and then 3 stacks facing the facilities over here. So the land size is a little smaller. Of course, Promenade Peak one is a little bit more regular in the sense you can actually fit in quite good facilities on the ground floor. But in this case, actually, RIVERGREEN, they do have facilities over here. Later I'll show you the site plan. But of course, if you talk about a bit more luxury, then Promenade Peak is one of the products that you want to go for. Okay, so these are price predictions on the price jumps that I have come up with for 3 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, and 1 bedroom, right? So these are the parameters here. We do have some indicative prices on the starting from price, which I'll show you in a bit. So what I've done here is that I have actually, based on what we understand of all green properties and normal developer pricing for high-rise development, right? We always see a difference of about 0.5%, okay, per floor jump for every level, right? Of course, this one it's a facilities deck. We don't have any. This one is also a facilities deck, right? So every time there is another jump on the next tier, right, we add another 1%, right? So this is my prediction based on that. From a developer point of view, they also cannot expect that the PSF will be super high on the top, because then there will be people who cannot accept that kind of pricing and they walk away, right? So the top floor unit cannot be that high as well, right? So this one, as we've predicted as well, the per square foot will be around the 3,006, almost 3,006 per square foot range, okay, which is kind of like what you see in Nasim, the Boulevard area. You see that this kind of per square foot has already been transacting. So what we want to highlight for here is that the 3 bedrooms, smaller units are all situated over here, right? These ones will be the private lift one, the 3 bedroom with the private lift, okay? Then when we come to 2 bedrooms, we also have some indicative pricing over here in terms of the per square foot. But because they are only up to level 42, we can only just focus on this. These ones won't have the two bedrooms. Okay, so from a per square foot point of view, is like this, right? I understand that you may not get so much out of this, but later I'll show you a bit of the pricing and the quantum so you can understand a little bit more. So based on your budget, you can actually filter directly. Okay, 1 bedroom, we see that the per square foot is slightly a bit higher, but of course, also same thing, we have that 1% jump. And then we focus here on this levels 2 to 42, and then we don't have any on the premium collection. Okay, so here are the indicative prices, right? They've just come out, right, on the day that I'm filming this. So for Promenade Peak, what we're seeing is that the 1 plus study will be about 1.48 million. Okay, then all the way to the 3 bedroom, we're seeing about 2.7, which I think for starting from price is still quite acceptable for low floor units. Okay, but what we see here is that there's a bit of a drastic difference, and I'll explain why a little bit later. Why is the 3 bedroom at only 2.25 million? Which honestly you can find in the RCR region. Why is the 2 bedroom here only costing you about 1.5 million, right? The answer is in the sizes, but later I'll explain to a little bit more. Okay, so these are the indicative pricing. Based on your budget in mind, you can actually understand like, okay, this is what I can possibly get here. But we also want to understand Promenade Peak is going to be, let's say, 42 story high at least, and RIVERGREEN is 36 stories high, right? So there are still high-rise developments, and you need to understand that there will be a price jump for all, and then where do you cut off, right? I think this is what I want to focus on today. I think a lot of the videos for project reviews are mostly talking about the facilities, the layout and all that. I will cover a little bit on layout, but I think primarily today for this video, I'll be covering more on the pricing. Okay, so let me go through the fact sheet one by one. So I'll start with Promenade Peak first. Okay, this is this Promenade Peak belonging to District 3. The developer is All Green, so they have done quite a number of freehold projects in the Bukit Timah area, also in the town area. So we kind of understand them a little bit in terms of the furnitures and all that. I think they're quite good quality so far. I haven't heard any complaints actually for any of my clients so far. This is going to be a 36-story high building. Just for info, this is going to be the highest residential development in Singapore. Okay, so like pure residential. That means there's no shops downstairs and all that. It's going to be even higher than MBS. So imagine you're on a top floor, you will be able to see literally like the whole of Singapore kind of thing. Okay, and they also have a sky deck which I'll show you later. Okay. So the sizes are as such. Unit mix, there is 1 plus study for 5 to 7 square feet. 2 bedrooms, kind of compact one, 600 plus square feet. 2 plus study, better sizing, 700 plus square feet. And then we have the 3 bedroom and 3 bedroom premium and all the way down, right? So the sizes you see that are common in the CCR region are mostly the bigger floor plate ones that are quite popular and see that you have quite good profit for them, right? The smaller ones are something that we want to explore a bit further, right? Later I'll show you a bit more on the pricing for the smaller units that have been performing in the area. How is it like? And then if it's a good product to enter or not. So here's the site plan. This is what you see on the first floor, right? So you have a decent lap pool, right? There are a lot of facilities. So for this picture that you see over here, Grand Promenade, right? This is going to be the pool area, right? And then I heard that there will be a big function room somewhere here maybe that you can actually combine the 3 big functions and house a lot of people, right? So I think Grand Promenade is a bit more to the luxury side. If you have seen RIVERGREEN, right? They also kind of marketed themselves as a luxury product by Fraser. And if you've seen the development, actually they have concierge services and all that. So I think this is kind of steering towards RIVERGREEN. Okay, so function room, all that, there's plenty of facilities. I don't think there is a lack of them. Okay, and most important thing to highlight is on the highest floor, there is this infinity pool. So literally you're on 63rd floor, right? And then you're on the infinity pool over here. You literally can see almost the whole of Singapore then, right? So I think the view is going to be great, of course. So for the 3rd floor, you also have some facilities as well. There's some sky decks that you can chill out. So all the facilities are over here. Definitely when you go into Promenade Peak versus when you go into RIVERGREEN, I would say generally Promenade Peak is a bit more of a luxury product, but of course the sizes are better. And in terms of price point, there are still price points that you can enter. For RIVERGREEN, it's a little bit more entry level to be able to step foot into River Valley, which honestly is very rare for this kind of pricing that we see today for you to buy something in River Valley, right? So that is a rare opportunity, and I'll cover that a little bit later. Okay, so this is RIVERGREEN. Moving forward, all the slides, right? I either have this logo over here or the Promenade logo, so you can get a differentiation of what we're talking about over the course of this video. Okay, so RIVERGREEN belongs to D9 along with River Valley Green. It's also kind of doorstep to the MRT where you can, once you get out of the exit, you see the project itself and you can get direct access, fully sheltered. It's also fully sheltered to River Valley Primary. Okay, so they've got 1 to 4 bedroom units. So you see that the 1 bedroom, right? So just now with Promenade Peak, the 1 bedroom starts from 5 to 7 square feet. 1 plus study, okay, but this one, the 1 bedroom starts from 420, right? So from an investment point of view, actually if you want to get the highest yield, then this would be good because in terms of entry price, it's going to be very, very reasonable, so that will give you a lot more yield moving forward. Okay, then they also have 2 bed 1 bath, 2 bed 2 bath, 2 plus study, and then compact 3, couple sizes here, and then last one would be the 4 bedroom 980 square feet. Okay, so for own stay buyers, I think coming to River Valley, if you're not so much into the school, or just looking to be able to stay in the city, I think this is really a perfect product. So later I'll share a bit more a bit on the pricing. But Promenade Peak, like I mentioned just now, while they are competing products, they also are differing products. Okay, so here's the site plan. You can see that what they have done so far is they have actually put in some facilities for you to block out the noise over here. Okay, but all the units are either facing here or facing the facilities over here. So decent, I think they give quite a big pool. They also have a tennis court. They kind of try to fit everything into the facilities. They also have a roof terrace deck as well. So doorstep MRT, I think is really convenient. You get to Great World in just a couple of minutes walk and fully sheltered as well. So I think really being able to live in the city at a very low entry price, I think this is the best product so far. Okay, before you read the words and the 6 pointers over here, I want to zoom in a little bit on the unit mix over here first. Okay, so where we are and why am I laying this out, right? It's because there are sizes that are overlapping. Okay, so for example, Promenade Peak 1 plus study is a 527 square feet. RIVERGREEN 2 bed 1 bath is 527 square feet. Okay, 2 bed 2 bath Promenade Peak 657 square feet. RIVERGREEN, the 2 plus study is 657 square feet. See that it's kind of overlapping like this. Okay, I want to lay this out because I want to help you guys understand what am I covering and why am I putting comparisons together and for what reasons, right? So this is what I'll be covering and later I'll share the reasons why. Okay, so because there is no 1 bedroom at Promenade Peak, I'll be just sharing a cut-off pricing that I think is reasonable for RIVERGREEN. I will also be comparing PP's 1 plus study 527, okay, and RG's 2 bed 1 bath 527 as well. Okay, I'll be comparing PP's 2 bedroom 657 square feet versus RG's 2 bedroom at 603 square feet first. Okay, I'll be comparing, so the complex one, all this, right, I will be doing it individually, okay? But for 3 bedroom, I'll be comparing their compact sizes at 1076 square feet, the ones that are from level 2 all the way to level 42, and 4 bedroom at 980 square feet. You know, the reason why is also because the RG's 4 bedroom is smaller, right? In terms of pricing, it's going to be very close. So I'm comparing these two also because you want to understand in the resale market next time when you want to sell, right? For you to come in at a 4 bedroom at 980 square feet in the River Valley area, it's quite hard to see any traction on it at first glance, right? So we are putting the prices together because next time when you want to sell, you will be competing with PP's 1076 to 1033 square feet. So which one do you choose, right? And at what price thresholds? Okay, 3 to 5 bedrooms premium, I will just be laying out the safe price point to enter. Okay, and then all other bedroom types, like I mentioned, I bundle this together, the price range and the differences and the cut-off pricing. Let's get started. This is RIVERGREEN 1 bedroom 420 square feet. Okay, so this is the very first time I'm seeing an enclosable kitchen in a 1 bedroom, right? It's almost like a studio sizing already, but they managed to squeeze in like a wall. You get a decent size queen size bed, not much complaints over here. And then you get an enclosable kitchen, right? I think this is open space, right? But still something on the side and something new and something refreshing to see, right? Because normally if you see a sizing like that, you would see that the kitchen is just something like that. Okay, so that point aside, I want to talk about the pricing, right? So I've come up with this price matrix where you see what's the starting from price and then you kind of work it upwards, right? And see where we are in terms of the pricing and what would benefit you the most. Okay, so in this case, where I am is I've highlighted this 2 to 20, right? So I think this is where we will cut off. A couple of reasons. One is that it's a safe zone for a good rental yield. That means next time, in terms of the rental yield over here, which I'll cover in the next slide, it will be a safe zone in a sense where your future buyers coming in, they still can be able to get the rental yield and for you to make some profit out of it. Okay, and two, the other reason is that it overlaps the pricing with Promenade Peak's 1 plus study, right? So later I'll cover a bit more. So keep in mind this, if you're looking for what RIVERGREEN 1 bedroom over here, the threshold should be something 1.3 range. Okay. So you want to understand the rental demand in this area, right? If today you're buying a 1 bedroom, you're likely buying for investment and you will want to rent it out. Okay, I think the own stay buyers here is not that we don't have, right? But it's a little bit lesser, okay, than maybe outskirts, right? So here I think rental demand in the vicinity, what we're seeing for newer properties, definitely the PSF is slightly higher, right? So Rive $9 plus, Tribeca $7, Mirage Towers $6. So today, if I base off this pricing for a 1 bedroom, looking at Rive's pricing, which is the newest project in the lot right now, and I put the highest threshold pricing that I set just now, right? And my rental about 4,000. My rental yield is about 3.7%. Right, so you can imagine anything lower, right? At 1.2, right, for example, your rental yield should go up to 4.1%. So that is very reasonable from an investor point of view. You want to keep your entry price low so that as you can command more rental in that sense, right? Your rental yield is much higher. So this is Promenade Peak's 1 plus study and RIVERGREEN 1 plus study, right? So the sizes are as such, 527 for Promenade Peak and 452 for RIVERGREEN. Okay, so the layout is, I guess it's quite conventional. The only difference is the kitchen. This one is a two-side kitchen, and then this one is all just flush on one side. And then the study tuck on this side that has kind of access to the master bed, bath as well. This one is kind of in the middle. So I would say generally the one that is more usable, I would say would be something like that, because people can use it as a walk-in wardrobe, can use it as a proper study. Here is really just a tuck-in corner. Okay. So nothing much to highlight over here. About what we want to cover is really on the renter U. So I have laid out here for RIVERGREEN's 1 plus study, because the size is on the lower side. What will be the renter you can get based on the same, roughly the same rental per square foot. Okay, so let me zoom in a little bit on this. What I've laid out here over here is that the starting price here, okay, the renter U that you can potentially get from here all the way upwards, right? So as the price increases, right, your renter U goes down. Okay, so this theory is okay. You also want to set that threshold on the renter U here for 1 plus study, because if let's say you have an option just for renter U, I would say maybe go for the 420 square feet to get the maximum rental returns. But if you're looking at 1 plus study, or you have no options left, I think the threshold should be somewhere around here. You want to be able to keep this kind of renter U, okay, and yet be able to make some profit. Right, because at this point where your rental yield is 4%, somebody next future buyer coming in, right? You enter at 1.29 mil, for example, right? So your future buyer, and you, for example, you want to make 50k out of this, right? So you want to sell it at 1.34 million, okay? For example, and you want the buyer at 1.34 million to be able to make a decent yield, right? So if you look back at this table over here, you see that the rent at this kind of pricing, right, the rental yield falls under somewhere around here, right? So still acceptable, right? That's why I think you need to be able to cut off at a certain point, because if you go too high up, would tenants pay higher rental for a better view? I would say yes, but for $100, $200 difference, the rental yield is not going to make much of a difference. So from you coming as an investor, I think where you cut off will be somewhere around here. But somebody who wants to buy for own stay, I think both layouts still work, but I think it's really down to the entry price that you can consider. So what you can also do is you can contact me for this exact table, right? And then I can share with you so that you can actually bring it on to the booking day, so that you get some clarity, understanding going in what to choose. Okay, so if I put the 1 plus study both together, 452 square feet versus Promenade Peak 1 plus study 527 square feet, you see that the pricing, right? Of course, RIVERGREEN's 1 plus study would be much cheaper, right? So I would say the threshold will be something like this, like I mentioned earlier, in terms of looking at the rental yield perspective, right? But if you look at Promenade Peak, what you're actually paying for here is slightly bigger size, okay, slightly bigger living area. You're paying a little bit more for better facilities as well, because for RIVERGREEN, I think the facilities will not be as welcoming as Promenade Peak, which is a bit more of a luxury product. Then now we come to a bit more important one, which is when you are in a situation where you are thinking, yes, I want to buy to invest, but yet there are two projects of the same size, right? So Promenade Peak 1 plus study is 527 square feet. RIVERGREEN's 2-bed 1 bath is actually 527 square feet as well, right? So this one comes with a study but not a full bedroom. This one comes with a full bedroom, also 1 bathroom, right? And also at the same time, it comes with an enclosable kitchen. Okay, so how do we decide, right? So how do we see what pricing to go for, and how much are you willing to pay for the additional bedroom? Okay, so if we look at this in terms of per square foot that I've roughly predicted for PP and also for RG, right, the price point and the price difference that we're looking at should be roughly about 158,000. So if you're looking at for an additional bedroom, if you look at the per square foot that we just predicted, the difference is roughly about 158k to about 180k, right? So I said that I'm willing to pay a little bit more for the additional bedroom, and I can call it a 2-bedroom, right, instead of calling it a one bedroom. If I set the threshold like that, then my price matrix will look something like that. Okay, so for Promenade Peak here, 1 plus study, okay, versus 2-bed 1 bath over here. How do we compare? How do we decide, right? So if we have set a threshold that I'm willing to pay about 150k to 180k for one additional bedroom, I will go for RIVERGREEN's 2 bed 1 bath first until the certain threshold over here. Then I will decide I'll go for the Promenade Peak 1 plus study. Of course, two things, right? One is the budget, and two, whether you're buying for investment or stay, right? If you're buying for investment, I think if you have the budget, go for the 2 bed 1 bath. But if you want to buy this purely for investment, then I think the 1 plus study works as well, because the rental yield will be the most rewarding one. Okay, now we come to the 2 bed 2 bath. Okay, so Promenade Peak open concept kitchen, RIVERGREEN 603 square feet with an enclosable kitchen. So I really like RIVERGREEN's layouts because I feel that they are a bit more efficient, and because the sizes are smaller, the quantum is a little bit more reasonable as well. Okay, so here we are. Maybe we do a bit of comparison with the kitchen. This is an enclosable kitchen. This is an L-shaped kitchen, and then this one is kind of like stuck on one side. Between the two here, I would say not much difference, but I think this one should feel a little bit bigger, even though they're of the same size. Okay, now we come to the 2 bed 2 bath that is a little bit bigger, right? So there's one that's an open concept kitchen, right? This one is also open concept, but the kitchen is on both strips over here. Similar but longer living dining area. And then for 6, 7, 8, you have a L-shaped foyer, so that you kind of have a bit more privacy at the foyer. That means people, when looking in, they won't look into the unit. But other than that, the bedroom sizes are all quite similar. So I wouldn't comment too much about this, but I think more importantly is still the pricing. Okay, so for 2 bed 2 bath, right, these are the 600 plus square feet sizes, right? But what I want to understand is, coming into River Valley, buying a 2 bedroom, can I see decent profit or not? Okay, so I'm comparing here 3 different products that are very, very new in the River Valley market today. Okay, and you see that actually for Orwell Hill, the 2 bedroom transactions are actually moving quite quickly. Okay, and actually for Orwell Hill, the top pricing and the latest transaction on the 18th floor, right, has already hit about 2.05 million, right? So what if I told you today that for RIVERGREEN you can actually get something in the 1.6 range, right? I think that's where you see that actually it's a very, very safe entry to enter. And once you enter at that kind of pricing, you know that 4 years down the road, when you want to sell, this price has already been accepted in the market, and this would be the minimum that you would accept in that sense, right? So for that, the buffer is there. And if you look at, for example, right, if you compare the Gem Residences and Ori, when Ori first launched, right, the lowest units were about 2,005 per square foot. Gem Residences right now is still hovering around 1,008 to 1,009, right? So there's a gap of about $600 in that sense, right? But today, if you know that there are already transactions in the $3,000 range per square foot, and in terms of quantum is about 2 mil, right? But you coming in to enter at 1.65 or even 1.55, right? That gives you a very, very safe entry and also a very safe exit. Later I'll draw a bit of a scenario for you so that you can understand coming into here, what is your strategy. Okay, Avenue is a freehold property. The 2 bedrooms are also quite healthy in terms of transaction, and almost like 2.885 million and 3,005 per square foot. Okay, so once we know the overall landscape of the 2 bedroom pricing over here, we can understand where we are at in terms of the threshold of coming in and whether it's still safe to enter or not. Okay, so comparing the 2 bed 2 bath for RIVERGREEN and Promenade Peak, the smaller 2 bed 2 bath, right, if you look at if you recall the pricing that I just shared with you, Orwell Hill already hit 2.05 million, right? Coming into both of them, you see the quantum right here is about 1.68, all the way up to 1.8, right? 1.9. I would do this zoning thing where you this will be choice 1, choice 2, and then you hop to choice 3, choice 4, and choice 5. Right? Even if you buy RIVERGREEN top floor at 3,003 per square foot at $2 million, you know that somebody has already bought and transacted something above 2 million. Of course, if you can, right, we want to stay in the 1, 2, 3, 4 zones for you to be able to get a good deal and still be able to exit safe. If you talk about the smaller 2 bedrooms, I think it's a clear answer on what to do and where to cut off. Okay, ideally you go into the 1, 2, 3, 4 zones. But for the bigger ones, right, it's slightly a little bit more complicated because in terms of the pricing, they actually overlap with RIVERGREEN's 2 plus study. Okay, so let me share a bit about 2 plus study. You go to the show flat, you will be able to see the 764 square feet 2 plus study. They have a longish living dining area, both side kitchen. Then the study is tucked near the entrance, which I think is an interesting concept where you want to enclose it, you can. These are quite similar layouts, just where the study is situated, over here as well. And then this one has an L-shaped kitchen, and bedroom sizes, living room sizes are generally about the same. Okay, then we compare RIVERGREEN's 2-bed plus study. Right? Enclosable kitchen, tuck-in study, right, and then everything else is dumbbell concept. So I still feel at this point, RIVERGREEN's layouts are still a bit more likable for people who come from the like us, who want to come from the OCR or the RCR region to come into River Valley. I think RIVERGREEN's layouts are still better. But of course, Promenade Peak's facilities will most likely wow you more. Study the price point is drastically different, right? So let me zoom in a little bit. What I'm showing over here, I just lay it out, is RIVERGREEN 2-bed plus study, this size, okay? And then the one with the bigger study for the bigger sizes. Okay, but you see that the price point between the RIVERGREEN 2 plus study and Promenade Peak's 2 plus study is quite drastically different, right? So the starting from price for the 700 over square feet is over 2.12 million, goes up to 2.2, goes all the way up to 2.4 something. So I think where we want to cut off here is also where we see that there's overlapping with RIVERGREEN's 3-bed compact. Okay, when we reach a threshold like that, then you can actually get a 3-bedroom. So why not get a 3-bedroom instead of a 2 plus study, you know? So having this will give you some clarity on what to do when you realize that, hey, the units that you want are actually running out. So, but you have the view of like, hey, actually I still have a 3-bedroom compact to choose from at another project, for example. I think this is something that you want to take note of and also understand, so that moving forward, especially when you're choosing the unit type, you know exactly what to do. Okay, now we come to the 3 bedrooms at RIVERGREEN. Okay, so like I mentioned, the 2 plus study, once you hit a certain level, it will definitely hit the pricing for RIVERGREEN's 3 bedroom. But of course, by the time you reach that kind of level, there will be people buying the RIVERGREEN 3 bedroom as well, right? So for example, right, how do you decide what to do, right? So today, if let's say your Q at RIVERGREEN is 100. Okay, your Q at Promenade Peak is, for example, 300. And today you're looking at a 2 plus study. I think your budget is roughly around the 2.1, 2.2 mil range, right? And then you see actually the units that are already selling at RIVERGREEN, right? You are in the RIVERGREEN queue, for example, and the PP queue is still way behind. And how do you decide, like, oh, are the units moving? Do I jump and decide that, okay, I'm going to walk away from this and I'm going to go for PP and wait for PP's pricing, but yet you are seeing PP's units moving very fast, right? So I think what you want to do here is that you want to be able to have somebody who is able to guide you and have very full clarity on where to go and where and at what point to walk away and to come back. I've been in this kind of situations before. I know it's extremely, for myself as well and for clients as well, I know it's extremely stressful for clients to be going through this. So if you're in a situation like that, which some of you will, because you will be putting checks on both sides, what you want to do here is that if let's say there is still a waiting period where you can wait for the units to transact, right, like your 2-bed, right, this particular stack that you're looking at, how many has been sold, then you can see at the rate of where it's going, right? Should you wait for PP? Once you get to PP, will you be able to get a unit of a budget, or should you just wait at RIVERGREEN and just go for it, right? So there is this thing called a thinking box at the point where you book the unit. Once you get in, you decide that, okay, I'm not certain because maybe I'll look at PP first, right? You can also go to the thinking box and wait for a bit before you decide where is everything going, right? So I think you do have some time in the thinking box if you want to see where the units are going in RIVERGREEN. Should you take the bet and wait for PP to get a bit more clarity before you go for RG? And by the time you want to come back to RG, are the units that you want or selected gone, right? So because it's moving at the same time, at the same rate. Right, so I think what you want to understand is for you to go in, you want to have something that is clear for you, right? Based on your queue number. But of course, if you do want some of these price matrix and all that, you can reach out to me. I can send them to you, and then you can kind of bring it out to the booking day, and you get a bit more clarity with the prices in hand, and then you can go forward. Okay, so now we come to 3-bedroom at RIVERGREEN, compact 3-bedroom. So I think for entry level, price is very, very attractive. That's one. And for you to be able to enter River Valley 3-bedroom, I think it's quite a rare opportunity today. And later I'll cover a little bit more and address the elephant in the room later on the pricing here at CCR region. Okay, but let me move on first. I'll cover a bit of the layout. This is more like a compact 3-bedroom. And you see that in OCR properties. You see that in Irwell Hills as well. I would say quite functional. Even just yesterday, I was at Rive. The kitchen size at Rive at 1173 is about the same size as this. Right? So in terms of comparison, looking at 3-bedroom, I think not much of a concern. I think if you want to look at a 3-bedroom here, in the CCR region, you want to stay in River Valley and you are okay with sizing like that, I think in terms of price point, it is good to enter. Okay, so where I'm cutting off over here is something in the almost the 2.5 million range, right? Anything above, I think you need to reconsider a little bit and see what are the other choices out there. Of course, depending on whether you're buying for investment or own stay, I think there will still be people capturing the crowd over here on this side because the budget is still quite reasonable for coming into entry at less than $2.5 million. So of course, if I talk about buffer for profits, this will be the best range, but I mean, there will be people snatching these units here because the view is so much better. I'm not covering so much on the facing in this analysis because I want to take the time to cover a little bit more on pricing so you get understanding of where to cut off and all that. So I think this is more important. Okay, so you look at compact 3-bedrooms in the area, right? Today we're looking at RIVERGREEN coming in at less than $2.5 million. Even you can get high floor at 2.448, something like that, which I think there will still be people looking to enter this, right? But if you want to look at other areas, right, compact 3-bedroom, right, Alta, for example, has already done 2.25 over million, okay? Emerald of Katong up to 2.345. Park Esta right now in the resale market, not new launch market, has already transacted for compact ones about 2.3 million. Okay, so today you're topping up a little bit for brand new 99 years. These are all 99 years. Brand new 99 years, good view near the city, good connectivity. You got a mall at doorstep, you got a market and all that. So I think this product will be very, very special and it's something that people want to enter, right? Ideally, because you have a River Valley address. Okay, now we look at the compact 3-bedroom asking prices around the area, right? So Irwell Hill and Martin Modern are the best references because they are very, very nearby and they're also like recently TOP, quite relatively new as well. There are 2-bath compact as well. They are asking at 3.15 million. Irwell Hill, the craziest one I've seen is actually 3 million as well, right? Almost 2.99, asking 2.99 at 3,004 per square foot. So today you're coming in at a 3-bedroom compact at RIVERGREEN at about the $3,000, maybe up to 3,002 PSF range, right? At maybe somewhere around the 2.5 million range and below, all the way to even 2.2 you can get something. I think it's a real steal. So coming in where people are asking 3,004 per square foot and you coming in at 2,009, I think the buffer is very, very safe. Okay. Next will be the Promenade Peak 3-bedrooms at 1,033 square feet and 1,076 square feet. So 1,033 square feet is what you can see in the show flat. What they are kind of special on is they have this outdoor balcony, right? Then in the kitchen, right, while there's a window as well, there is actually a hole in the kitchen where you can actually kind of like serve your food and have a table outside kind of thing, right? So this layout is really a bit more lifestyle. You don't need such a big kitchen, but you still have full 3 bedrooms and a nice balcony where you can kind of look out from the kitchen. This layout is also quite interesting. Once you come in, a little bit of wasted space, but I think the living dining area will feel a bit more welcoming. And then you have a small kitchen over here, but there's no window coming out, right? So I think this one will be slightly less favorable than this one. Okay, so I think in terms of choice, I'll still be looking at something like that. Okay, then what like I mentioned earlier, I'll be comparing this layout with RIVERGREEN's 4-bedroom, okay, at 980 square feet. So this one, coming in, the kitchen size is about the same. Okay. What you can also do in the show flat that they mentioned, they hack down a lot of walls over here. So you can actually kind of open up the space. This is good where you can just open this up. Maybe you have a bigger living dining area. And then you just make it a 3-bedroom, right? It's going to be a 3-bedroom compact, right? But if you convert this is a 3-bedroom compact, one, you'll be competing with the 3-bedroom compact price, which is not where it is today. Later I'll show you the pricing. And two, it's a bit hard for you to compare with the 1,000 plus square feet one, because so this is kind of in between. But people who are looking to enter and may not have any more choices left, they will go for this one. Okay, so now I'm comparing between the layout and the pricing over here. So what we have is Promenade Peak 1033, Promenade Peak 1076, and RIVERGREEN 980. Okay, so where we are in terms of pricing, we see that it's going to be about 2.8 something all the way to 3 million and all the way up. Where I would think the safe zone is somewhere where the highlighted point is. Anything above that, I think we need to reconsider based on your objective. Do you really want to stay here? If you want to stay here, you're willing to pay for this price. If not, there may be other choices out in the market that can offer you a better investment value. So layout, what I would choose is 1033 and then 980 here at RIVERGREEN, and then the last one will be 1076. Okay, so where we are seeing with the pricing that I just shared earlier, right? With Ori, Tembusu Grand, those are RCR projects where you see that there are the 3-bedroom premium layouts that to compare side by side, apple to apple, right? Their transactions are around 2.7 to 2.9 here on in the Ori. And then for Tembusu Grand, we're seeing also around the 3 million range, and that's in East Coast, right? So I think where we want to cut off safer will be something along something that doesn't hit the threshold of 3.07, which is what I highlighted earlier. Anything above that, I think for investment maybe not, but for own stay, if you're looking to really stay in the city, then you can decide to go forward. Okay, so I want to address the elephant in the room over here, right? So today, if you're entering, like I mentioned just now, if you're entering a pricing that it has been accepted outside of the region and within the region as well, like I mentioned just now, does it count as a safe buy? And two, what has been a problem in CCR all these years? Okay, so what are the main concerns, right? The main concerns of CCR is the perception and the thinking that the price is always higher, right? Making it unattainable. So today you see, actually in terms of quantum, we look at this is OCR and then RCR and CCR. Today the pricing is a bit different now, but let's say back in 2010, right, 2010, if I want to buy a 3-bedroom, I can maybe buy something at the 1.3 million range. But for me to reach CCR, it's going to be 1.3 million more, right? So the gap has always been wide. Right, for me to come in 1.6 million or even 900k over here, right? I'd rather go 900k than maybe at that point in time I cannot afford, right? So the gap is always high. It's always double. It feels like it's always double. For me to be able to come into CCR region, I have to always pay double. So it's one concern, right? Making it unattainable. People don't think that they can actually live in the city. The other two, one more that point that is very important is that the layouts are not always the best. So these are, I wouldn't name the project, but these are some floor plans that I've gotten from the projects surrounding the area. Okay, 3-bedroom over here. Once you come in, is 2 bedrooms, which is a little odd. The kitchen is like a bit more open concept, and then it comes with the master bath and all. So generally the layout is just a little bit not so conventional. And then they come with a balcony and a planter box. Okay, this one I don't know if you can guess it, but it's a small development. Bay window, all wasted space. Bay window in the master bath as well. Planter box over here. Planter box in the balcony as well. So I think even, and they give you a private lift lobby, right? And the private lift lobby kind of takes up the foyer space as well. So people coming into the city, they thinking, hey, it's not very livable at all, because I want to bring my family here. I want to move into this area, but the layouts are just don't work, right? So this one is another 1-bedroom. Bedroom cannot fit a queen size bed. It's slightly slanted. Master bedroom here is fine, but then everything else is just odd shape, right? Even the balcony size. I can't decide what I want to put for it. So coming into city as a family unit or as a couple, right? I don't know how to make use of the space, and that's why people are not kind of biting and entering. Okay, and the other main concern I think we want to address as well is that the price undeniably has gone up over the past 5 years, right? So since COVID days, we expected that the price would not hold, but yet because the spending power has shifted, people started buying properties, then the price has gone up easily another 30% right now. It's not just for you to be able to enter at this kind of pricing, right? You will also ask yourself like, oh, and then next time who's going to buy my house? Okay, so I think this is something that it's a concern and I understand, which I will address a bit later, and still the reasons why you should consider entering and why you should not. Okay, so why should you consider entering? To address the latest concern that I just mentioned, right? Even though we think that the property prices has gone up quite a lot, and who can afford the properties these days, right? But if you look at the overall household incomes, it's been increasing. In terms of looking at the proportion of people earning the higher tier income, right, it's actually more and more year on year. So at the same time, what we also see is that the property prices have going up steadily. If you look at a good 20-year time frame, but the incomes have actually gone up way higher, more than that. So if you want that graph, I can send that to you, just to get you understand where we are today and why are people still buying properties. Is it because they cannot afford, or is it because they are trying to find where the power to leverage is, and they're entering the market as well? Okay, so these are the people that are looking to enter and understanding the power of leverage to make sure that they end up having a good capital to retire. I think that's the main goal for a lot of people in terms of looking at retirement and making sure that your asset is going to help you to grow to that goal. And these people are a bit more savvy. So the other reason why you should consider is because, like I mentioned just now, it's always a bit more unattainable, right? But today we see that the gap has narrowed down so much in a way that right now, like the pricing that I shared with you earlier with 2 bedrooms and 3 bedrooms especially, is that you can get the same price here in the CCR region for your RCR pricing. So today, if you can get something, and especially with the land bids going on, right? Today, if you can get something at the same price as the RCR region, will it be a good deal or not? Okay, and another reason why you should consider is that these prices won't stay low for long. Okay, so why I want to illustrate this is today if you enter something at 2008 per square foot, okay, in the CCR region, while others are also transacting at 3004 per square foot, for example, in the surrounding properties. Here at Bayshore, they have launched about a couple of months ago. Once they likely launch maybe in 2026, somewhere in H2, right, they will be looking at 2006, 2007 per square foot, average above 2008 per square foot, looking at what the prediction is. Once that happens, and once Lakeside launches, once Bayshore launches, once Turf City launches, when these prices are like that, CCR will not be pricing at this kind of pricing. Because of the premium location, CCR will definitely be an edge above the rest. So then the person who enter at this kind of pricing or even lower, that will benefit the most. So we want to capture the window of opportunity because these prices will really not stay low for long. Okay, just to lay out a bit more, like I mentioned just now, 2 bedrooms around this area, the transacted pricing, right? So if today you can get something in the lower bound range versus all these properties over here that has already been transacted in the resale market, right? That is where the opportunity lies. Okay, and that's why I mentioned these prices will not stay for long, because you know that down here has already been really transacted in the resale market, maybe because the person wants to buy for own stay and not waiting for another opportunity. But here in Promenade Peak or Rivergreen, you can actually be able to get something in the 1.7 to 1.9 million range, which has already been proven and done in other developments nearby. Okay, so why is the developer doing this, right? The developer is right now is being very wary about pricing today because there's so many launches, right? So when there is a group of launches that are happening in the same area, that's where all different developers are a bit more edgy about the pricing and a bit more competitive in terms of the pricing that they set, right? And this is where we come in to say that, okay, yeah, this is a good opportunity. Of course, we need to set a certain threshold for all unit types, and then we make a decision from there. Okay, why these units will not stay for long is a concept over here that we share, right? Today, if let's say you enter something at 1.65 million, okay, you know that in the surrounding properties at CCR region has already hit 1.97, 2.05 for 99-year properties as well. This is 199, coming in 99. All the way to maybe 1.9 million, right? Let's say you want to enter something in the CCR region for 2 bedrooms in that kind of pricing. Even Rive has already done 2.4 million for a 2-bedroom at in the resale market. Okay, so today where is your buffer, right? Your buffer is somewhere around at this range where you can get exactly, if you can get a lower entry price, of course that's better, right? You can see a 300k profit. Okay, for 3-bedroom, same thing. Today, if let's say you are entering CCR at 2.45 million for a compact 3-bedroom, we know that RCR has already done 2 point. And then now the CCR region, they are asking 3,400 plus per square foot and around 2.99 mil to 3.15 mil. So where you are sitting at, it's a huge amount of buffer to consider over here. At least from this point of view, if let's say you wait for them to transact at this kind of pricing, right, your buffer is easily 500k. And this is where you can be able to exit at a safe price and enter at a safe price and also exit at a safe price. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Moving on, I think this is the last part round. This is the Promenade Suites. What we are seeing is the units on the all the way at the top over here. This is only for Promenade Suites, so I'll just cover all the layouts and also the pricing. Okay, so this is a 3-bedroom premium with private lift. There are 2 layouts, 1195 square feet and 1163 square feet. Okay, once you come out with private lift for 1195, right, you get everything tucked at the on this side, right? So this is a little bit odd. Once you enter, you have a lifestyle bar, which is like a area for you to maybe host, have a wine chiller and all that, and then you have a small kitchen that leads to your yard and utility. Okay, so I think this is a conventional layout. I think it's quite okay. 1163 square feet. Once you come out, your kitchen is slightly bigger. Your yard is slightly bigger as well. I think in terms of the space to host is still quite reasonable. And then 3 bedrooms on each side. 4 bedrooms with private lift. So I like the lifestyle bar where right in front of you is actually a dining area where you can easily host your guests. So 3 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms, 5 bedrooms, they all have that. 4 bedrooms, what you can expect is a walk-in wardrobe, a junior master, okay, and also the yard area utility. I think not much complaints about it. If you have a helper, I think you will house a helper quite well. And then you get a bit more luxury of space as well in this 1421 square feet and 1528 square feet. For the 5-bedroom premium with private lift, finally the last one, 1884 square feet, you get walk-in wardrobe, junior master room, you get a powder room, utility and yard is slightly bigger. I think it's good segmentation of space for the helper. And also you get a dry kitchen island top. The whole area you can actually host and a longish balcony. So I think the view for the 5-bedroom will be great because considering it's on the 44th floor and up, right? I think this one is one of the epitome of where you want to probably stay at, on a high floor. Right above you is an infinity pool. This is going to be quite attractive, but in terms of the price point, right, and so this is the price view for all the premium units, all the way from 44th floor, all the way to 62th floor. And then 63rd floor, you get the Sky Terrace as well. Okay, so this is the pricing that we're looking at overall. You can also take a picture or one screenshot. These are quite accurate because we already have the indicative prices for all the units over on this side for 4 bedrooms and 5 bedrooms as well, right? So once you put it upwards, you see that the PSF will hit about 2007 to 2008. But of course, once you hit that kind of budget, it's a little bit more premium and a bit more for people who are a bit more less budget conscious, right? But of course, with the kind of view, I think it's worth it as well. So here's a summary of what to look out for. Okay, so 1 bedroom, if you're looking for a renter and looking for investment, it's best to go for the smallest for the renter you. For 2 bedrooms, there's a lot of kind of overlaps, right? So between the PPs, 1 plus study and the RGs, a 2-bed, 1 bath, 150k is a good range for you to pay for an extra bedroom. But if your budget is slightly lower, you need to know where to cut off, right? And also, if you really want to live in the River Valley area, I would say the 603 square feet 2-bed room is actually very, very reasonable. So if once you can get in there, I think you can just go for it. Plus study, there is a price gap difference and it can be quite drastic. So you look out for that and see where you decide. If you have the budget, it cuts off somewhere, you go for the 3-bedroom compact. Okay, for 3 bedrooms, price point is still important. You need to know when to enter and if you want to make a decent profit. But for own stay, I think if you really want to stay in the area, 700 plus square feet, 3-bedroom, it is still quite reasonable. I think it's still workable for people who want to live in the area and still need 3 bedrooms. Okay, premium layouts, I think this will be the ones that will see the best profits, but you need the holding power, because for this kind of sizing, I think you're looking at more of the foreigner demand. So we need to kind of wait it out and see when the foreigner ABSD is lifted, then we will see some transactions going in that area. Okay, I think especially for 2 bedrooms and 3 bedrooms, the pricing going on is still most important. I want to make sure you know which project to go for, and especially when in terms of the price, there's so many overlaps, right? Even the 1 plus study to the 2 bedroom, there's an overlap. 2 bedrooms to 2 plus study, there's an overlap. 2 plus study to 3 bedrooms, there's also an overlap, right? So we want to be able to understand and have that whole entire landscape, right? You need to kind of plan it properly, okay? So if you're still not sure and you want to understand a bit more, you can reach out to me anytime before the launch date, and then I can kind of guide you through based on the particular budget that you set in your head. What should you be having your first choice for, second choice, and all that? So ideally, you will have your price point, right? You will have your choice units and your choice layout, and 3, your priorities to be set, right? Okay, so if you're still unclear, and I think this is a very heavy video as well, because we're comparing 2 very, very similar but also differing products, but yet competing with each other. I can understand why buyers would go for both and put checks on both to kind of test out the demand, but and the pricing over here. But I think it's important to make sure that all these 3 factors are clear before you step into this. Okay, so if you're still unclear, if you let me know, you can also scan this QR code. Pause this video and scan this QR code to WhatsApp me directly, or just call me directly, and I'll be able to help you out. Okay, so we've come to the end of the Promenade Peak and RIVERGREEN's project analysis. I hope this is insightful. I know it's very, very long and it's quite painful to see through all, but thank you for seeing through the entire video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.